On this edition of Lexington Now, the Lexington Fire Department celebrates 150 years, the second annual Creek Sweep, and the 19th annual Minority Business Expo is here. I'm Neil Noah, and welcome to Lexington Now for the week of August 2nd, 2021. The Lexington Fire Department is celebrating a milestone in 2021, 150 years of serving the community. Battalion Chief Jordan Sauce takes a look back.
With humor, the Lexington Fire Department started in Lexington, Kentucky. In reality, back in 1775, a settler named William McConnell actually settled here along a spring and ended up naming this place Lexington after the famous Revolutionary War in Massachusetts. And then in 1790, the prominent members of the community at that time ended up meeting at a place called Brent's Tavern, and they ended up forming what they called the Lexington Fire Company. And a gentleman by the name of John Bradford was actually voted to be in charge of that company moving forward. So 1790, the Lexington Fire Company is formed, and in 1798, the Union Fire Company is formed. So now you have two different companies operating under the umbrella of the Lexington Fire Department, but it's really two separate departments at that time. About 50 years later, in 1839, another company was formed, and that was called the Lion Fire Company, and that was initiated and started by several firefighters who were already on the previous two. They ended up breaking off and forming that third company called the Lion Company. Moving forward in 1864, a guy by the name of John R. Lackins ended up becoming the first paid fire chief of the Lexington Fire Department. And the next year, in March, Lexington's first steam-powered engine was introduced onto the department. In 1871, two major fires occurred in August. The first began in a Barnes & Woods drugstore at the corner of Main and Upper. A few days later, a second fire, this one near the corner of Main and Broadway, eventually destroyed more than half of a block between Main and Short. Later that fall, the vacant Lion engine house. So remember, there was the Lexington Fire Company, and then you had the Union, and then you had the Lion Fire Company. So the Lion engine house, by this time they had probably merged into one, so that house was now vacant, ended up being sold with its remaining equipment, and the property of J.M. Tipton, located on Short Street between Limestone and Upper, was actually purchased for a meager $6,500. And this became the original central fire station for the Lexington Fire Department. So currently in Lexington, it is the summer of 2021. We have 24 fire stations throughout Fayette County. The 24 fire stations, they cover 285 square miles, and they serve a population of almost 328,000 citizens located here in Fayette County. Within those 24 fire stations, including support bureaus and administrative positions, we have an authorized strength of 597 members, plus an additional 28 civilians. So we're sitting right around 630 total members with the Lexington Fire Department right now. On an average day, we're looking anywhere from 125 to over 200 calls. On a yearly basis, which is typically how we measure our incident response rates, we're pushing right around 60,000. I think in 2020 we were at 57,000. 46,000 plus was attributed to the EMS, the medical side of our response, and then just over 11,000 incidents were attributed to our fire response. The fire department is far more than just putting out fires. Modern day fire service actually has become an all hazards organization. It's a business, and businesses that fail to adapt to the community and the society that they're in tend to fail. And we can see that in any normal business. besides the fire service. And so the fire service has continued to adapt and adjust. For example, we've added policies and protocols and equipment related to active shooters and active aggressor situations because of recent events in the last 10 to 20 years. Our services have broadened exponentially over the years as well. Fighting fires is actually some of the smallest amount of things that we do. As I mentioned previously, our EMS runs, or our medical calls, rank 47,000 every year, as opposed to our fire incidents at just around 11,000 a year. But that's not just what we do. Yes, medical is a big part of it, and emergency response is a critical aspect of it, but we also do fire prevention. We do fire inspections, we do public education, we do school visits, we have our own fleet maintenance and our own facilities maintenance bureaus that take care of all of our buildings and all of our apparatus. Big apparatus like fire trucks, and small fleet like Explorers and Corollas and Traverses. We have our own fire investigation bureau, and they investigate the origin and cause of fires in order to make not only citizens in the community safer, but also firefighters who have to respond to these types of fires.
The second annual Creek Sweep is about to get started. What is it and how can you get involved? Jennifer Myatt tells us.
Lexington is coming up on its second annual Creek Sweep. We usually do the river sweep, but to give people an opportunity to social distance while they clean up litter in our waterways, we're doing the Creek Sweep again. Basically, you have the opportunity to pick up Creek Sweep kits with bags and gloves at locations all over Lexington. You can have your cleanup in a park, in your neighborhood, or in a backyard creek, anywhere that you might find litter or trash in your community. This year, like last year, the Creek Sweep will replace the Kentucky River Clean Sweep as a way to pick up trash in our communities. While we take trash directly from the river during the river sweep, we're pulling trash out of creeks that will eventually flow to the Kentucky River. It still makes a difference even if your litter cleanup is smaller than the usual Kentucky River sweep. Last year, in 2020, we had over 140 people participate in the Creek Sweep, and they picked up more than 100 bags of trash, along with all sorts of bulky trash items that they pulled out of creeks, such as broken bikes and signposts and scooters. This year in 2021, especially with all the rain we've had this summer, we hope that people remove even more trash from our community creeks. This year's Creek Sweep will be from August 7th through the 21st. To complete your cleanup, and we will have Creek Sweep kits available at our in-town locations from August 7th through the 15th. So make sure you drop by our website at lexingtonky.gov/creeksweep to find out the most updated locations for Creek Sweep kits. The kit has instructions for filling out an online survey afterwards with how much trash you picked up and where you had your cleanup. And if you fill out that survey, you can pick a prize that we'll mail to you. So we encourage everyone to participate this year and help us keep our community clean.
The Minority Business Expo is finally here. We'll give you a sneak peek after the break.
Registration for the 19th annual Lexington Bluegrass Area Minority Business Expo is now officially open. Presented by Fifth Third Bank, we're going virtual this year, and for a budget-friendly $60, this is the event to attend. Considered to be Kentucky's premier business expo for minorities and women-owned businesses, you can expect guest speakers, educational workshops, networking to meet and chat with business owners, and a day filled with opportunities. For registration details, visit lexingtonmbe.com. We look forward to seeing you at the expo.
Welcome back to Lexington Now. Innovate, diversify, and sustain is the theme for the 19th annual Lexington Bluegrass Area Minority Business Expo held virtually this week. Sharita Miller talks about what to expect.
It is the 19th year of the Lexington Bluegrass Area Minority Business Expo, and we are going virtual this year. Last year we went through a pandemic. Our small minority, women, and veteran-owned small businesses, even disadvantages, Disadvantaged owned businesses are still coming out of the pandemic, and we are offering a virtual experience this year for everyone to participate throughout the U.S. Attending a virtual conference, you're able to attend from anywhere, in your home, your office, wherever you may be located. And this year, Hopin will be the virtual platform user this year. I've had experience using Hopin. I think everybody is going to enjoy using this particular platform. We are going to offer the same experience as if you were in person for the expo this year virtually. So we're going to have plenty of education sessions, a keynote speaker, and a couple of special sessions as well. Some of those sessions will include a startup founders panel. They're going to talk about how they started some of their tech businesses in the midst of a pandemic. The presenting sponsor, who is Fifth Third Bank, they're going to talk about how you can grow your business through SBA loans. Our keynote speaker is Steve Hightower. He is president and CEO of Hightowers Petroleum, and they are celebrating 58 years of being in business. So he's going to speak to our theme, Innovate, Sustain, and Diversify as a minority business owner. This year, the expo registration is $60. That grants you access to the full day of the virtual experience on August the 6th. There's also exhibitor booth registration as well. You can go to www.lexingtonmbe.com to learn more information about the expo. Our sponsors are very important to the expo. We want to thank all of our sponsors this year, especially our presenting sponsor, Fifth Third Bank, who has been with the expo since its inception. Thank you, Fifth Third Bank, for being our presenting sponsor. We want to thank our gold sponsors, our silver, our bronze, and many other sponsorship levels that we have this year. There's going to be a special session about LFUCG's 2021-2022 disparity study. This is the very first disparity study for LFUCG. This particular study is going to analyze minority, women, and disadvantaged businesses in Lexington-Fayette County. That study is also going to do an in-depth review of LFUCG's purchasing and procurement practices to identify any barriers for minority, women, and veteran-owned small businesses, and going to review the enterprise program as well for minority, women, and veteran-owned small businesses. And I encourage all minority, women, and disadvantaged businesses to participate in the upcoming study. I'm in the process of finalizing the details for the public meeting, so there's going to be more information coming out very soon about the disparity study. And if you have any questions in regards to the disparity study, you can email me at smiller@ky.gov.
The Community Environmental Academy is accepting applications for this year's class through this week. We spoke with Alice Hilton about the opportunity.
The Community Environmental Academy, which was formerly the Citizens Environmental Academy, has been an ongoing project that the city has run for, I believe, about 5 years now. Essentially, it's a chance for Lexington residents to get a really in-depth look at the inner workings of the Department of Environmental Quality and Public Works. The first half consists of a series of talks and tours and workshops where people can learn about each of the different 7 divisions that make up the department. And so then, using that knowledge that they gain from the first half, they then get the chance to pitch projects, and whichever projects the group decides on as a whole, they receive a certain amount of funding to be able to implement those projects. We've seen some really cool projects come out of the Academy in the past, and several of them have remained ongoing, like the city has picked them up and kept them alive through the years. It's one example of those projects is this tree crutch here at McConnell Springs, which came from a 2018 class. And essentially they realized that there is a need to support these branches that hang over the path, otherwise they're going to have to be cut. And so they worked with the UK Design College and also got a little bit of funding from the UK Student Sustainability Council, in addition to the funding they got from the city to design and create this tree crutch, which is super cool that it exists now. Class sizes can be up to 25 people, and then for this year in particular, it'll go from August through November. There will be 5 different Saturday sessions, and actually this is the first year that we're going to be able to offer childcare if anyone needs it, which is exciting. We're removing that barrier. The first session is from 8:30 to 4:30, but that's the longest session out of all of them. The rest of them are 4 hours on 5 different Saturdays. And so we'll have different speakers come in. We do a tour of the recycling center here in Lexington. We do a tour of the wastewater treatment plant. And then at the end of that, if people have attended the required number of sessions, then they will come up with project pitches. Just be like, this, with what I've learned, I think that this would be a really cool project to be able to implement in Lexington, in my community. And then people form groups. Basically, they vote on the projects, they form groups around the project, and each person receives $2,000 to put towards that project. So if you had a group of 6 people, then you would have $12,000 to use to implement whatever it is that you're working on. And then people have also sought outside funding in the past as well. Like sometimes people will apply for grants, or they'll partner with other organizations in the city. And then they'll spend the next 6 months basically working on whatever their vision is, with help from us and from the city, just making that project happen. We are accepting applications on our city website now through August 6th. Those applications can be found at lexingtonky.gov/CEA. It is free to apply, and the applications they're not a lot of work. It's mainly just a way to check and make sure that people are interested and want to be involved. It's a really cool way for people to get involved with the city, with their community, to get a chance to kind of influence the built environment or to impact the environment in their community in a positive way, and we really look forward to working with people.
Most urban county government meetings are returning to in-person, and we bring most of these meetings to you live. Check out our website for the most accurate and up-to-date coverage of city business. And we continue to keep you up to date on how the city is handling the pandemic via our official COVID-19 response site, including testing and vaccination sites. Simply click on the banner at the top of our homepage. That's all for now, but as always, you can keep up with us on social media, check out the latest traffic updates on Twitter at LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on lexingtonky.gov. For all of us at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it for now.